Hey everybody, welcome to the Plain Mundane Show. I'm Alex Aquarius. Today we're going to talk about 4.5 reasons why the earth is flat. And these are my reasons. These are the decisions that I came to and what made my mind awake to this and what I thought. Because I'll tell you, like a lot of you, when I first saw on YouTube, I'd been using YouTube for years, and when I first saw a couple of years ago people saying that the earth was flat and proving it, and I didn't even click on the first ones I saw, even though I'm very open-minded and I study all kinds of topics along those lines. I didn't look at it, and I thought, pfft. But then one day I clicked on one, and it was 200 Proofs by Eric Dubay, and I started looking into that, and I thought, wow. And I just knew it. But I actually had already been a flat earther for almost 20-something years and had just forgotten about it, or with my cognitive dissonance, I had pushed it back into the back of my mind. First, I want to show you these are my passports. I've been around the world, probably 60 or 70 countries. I've had my master's, that frame above my head, the gold one, that's actually a degree in global management. It's an MBA, but it's specifically for foreign subsidiary ops and international business with languages and stuff. So I've used my passports a lot. I mean, if you want to say, like, who are you? Bond, James Bond. I have a passport that's got so many page insertions in there. I think this one has 4. It doesn't even close. And it's just got endless, visas in it. Visa, 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 visa. I've got, even before the EU was the EU, I was traveling in the EEC, the European Economic, what was the C for? Community. There's Suriname. That's a special one. Suriname in February of '98. Aruba. There's an Aruban stamp. Just anywhere you want to name in Latin America or the Caribbean, I've been there. That's been my biggest territory. I've managed Europe for a while for 1 or 2 companies. I've been global director, which is funny, now I'm a flat earth. Global director for an equipment company where I had an office in Malaysia, and I had offices in Brazil. I've had permanent, 3-year, 5-year. I started with a 1-year visa in Brazil. I got a 3-year visa. I speak Portuguese, learned that in graduate school. So anyway, how I got to be a flat earther is because this is my major in business. I have an undergrad in economics, and I went into my dream as a child. I was one of those kids that knew since like 8th grade or younger what I was going to do. And people ask me, what are you going to do when you grow up? And I would say, I'm going to work for a pharmaceutical company, and I'm going to run a foreign ops subsidiary for a drug company. And so when I went in undergrad, my electives when I was getting my associate degree were that red one here, right there. That's in anatomy, physiology, and then economics, pointing the wrong way, economics, and then global management. So I'm one of these guys that knew what I wanted to do for a long time, and I always envisioned myself traveling all over the world, speaking languages, and running companies. And I've had my day in the fun, in the sun, and now I'm done, and I don't want to do it anymore. And it's not even any fun anymore, since now, after 9/11, and the changes with TSA and having to walk through those x-rays where they scan your balls, excuse me, and it's just no fun anymore. So I'm more interested now in things that have income flow, like a YouTube channel, writing books, and some personal ventures that I do. I still do some business in Chile, Mexico City. So anyway, what happened to me? So first, I would sit there in airplanes and just look out the window for hours and hours and hours and wonder and try to see the curvature of the earth. And sometimes we'd be flying as high as 42,000 feet, and you just look and look, and I'll sit there on the armrest and just look for curvature, and I never saw curvature. Never, ever, ever. And sometimes there would be no clouds, beautiful evenings with the sunset, and never saw curvature. Never saw curvature. millions of miles for. I've got millions of miles on several airlines. I'm permanent Ruby status and gold on American Airlines. If I never fly another flight again, I still get to go through the first class zone to go through immigration. So anyway, the other thing was some of these, I've had what I hear some of these flat earth videos, and they're talking about these travel routes and trying to prove these flights that don't go between Chile and South Africa and going from Australia to Chile. I've tried that myself. I've been in Australia and thought, why don't I just go to Chile from here? That'd be cool, instead of going back through Chicago, you know, to get through to where I'm going. But there were no flights. And I think there were, at the time I looked, this was maybe 15 years ago, 12 years ago, and the time I looked, you couldn't go. And there were my travel agent said, you know, there's like one flight and you'd have to go. It's at the end of the month. You can't stay out that long. It's not cost efficient. One time I was in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I had not seen or even met personally my South African distributor in Johannesburg yet. So I thought, hey, I've already come down here to the southern rim and I'm in Argentina. Why don't I just hop over to Africa? And so I called up my flight agent, and Debbie, and she said, well, let me see what we got here. And she's looking. She goes, well, I've got a flight that connects through Madrid and then to Cairo, and then from Cairo you go down. And I said, Madrid to Cairo? That's halfway across the earth and back. And she goes, I know, they're all that way. They're all that way. And then she said, I said, what about if I wait here for another 4 or 5 days? I can visit some more clients and get some other things done and generate some more sales, and that'll justify me staying here a week. You know, when is the next direct flight? And she said, there are none. You have to connect through Madrid or Cairo or I can't remember what other major airport. I think there was one in Italy. Maybe it was Rome, Milan. I used to fly into Milan a lot. Anyway, so another time I want to tell you another story. I was in Chicago, and I used to fly. I had an office in Malaysia, and we used to go to get to Malaysia. You would have to fly from Chicago. I was living in Illinois. Fly out of Chicago to Narita in Tokyo. From Tokyo, fly about 7 hours to Singapore. Get there really late. Get a hotel. Sleep at the hotel right there in front of the airport. Embassy Suites or something like that. I can't remember. Intercontinental. Then you get up in the morning and you fly from Singapore to Penang or Kuala Lumpur, KL. So then I started. I remember flying out of Chicago, and we would take off, and you would see on your screen you're just going right past the North Pole. And if you look on the ball Earth, if you're flying out of Chicago, okay, and you're going to Japan, which is it's right here, okay. Japan is between the 30th and the 45th parallel, so you're almost on the same parallel as Chicago. But even if you drew a straight line with a thread, you would go just across the northern tip of Alaska. But I mean, we were going straight up. We were just going straight up this way. And I was like, I even flagged down the flight attendant, and I said, where are we going? I'm like, aren't we going to Japan? We could either just fly straight west or, you know, a little bit over Alaska, but why are we going that way? And she goes, I don't know. We always fly this way. It just works. It's faster. Just trust us. We'll do it. We'll get you there. So then, told you about the AM, PM. The other thing is just my own esoteric Gnostic wisdom and knowledge that I've learned from being a truther for about 10 years now, studying the Talmud, esoteric knowledge, Freemasonry, Sumerian, Emerald tablets, the Jewish scrolls, what are they called? The Dead Sea Scrolls. Anything I could get my hands on in literature, okay? As far as ancient books. And I've studied a lot of ancient, I've read Homer's Odyssey, the Iliad. And a lot of things just didn't make sense to me. And I've already learned out what I've learned. about the whole control system of the Earth and how it worked. When you hear people like Jordan Maxwell talking about the Earth isn't run the way that you think it is, and once you think you even know the way it runs, it's not what you think. Learn about maritime admiralty law. Basically, I majored in maritime admiralty law, okay? I had to take import-export classes. I studied maritime admiralty law in all 3 universities I went to. And I had to study it for government classes, I had to study it for import-export, and I had to study it for European community and the EEC at the time, and I had to study it to support NAFTA, which I supported at the time. And that's where the Uniform Commercial Code comes from, the UCC. So anyway, I understand why the ball earth and the heliocentric model coming from the Vatican, from the Jesuits in the last 500 years, makes sense to make us believe, as Albert Pike says in Morals and Dogma, that Adam is God and God is also Lucifer. It's a big ball of confusion. It's an enigma wrapped in bacon, wrapped in a Talmud, is what I say. So it makes you believe less in God and a creator. But if you thought you're on a plane and you're under a dome or a firmament and there's a creator or creators looking down on you, you're going to behave well, you're going to be nice to others, you're going to be as loving as you can, as productive as you can, and hope that when you leave this earth, you go back up to the 11th density or whatever it is that we coalesce from and return as remnants from those creators that we came from, because we're from them. And that's what those powers that aren't supposed to be on earth are trying to keep us from believing in, so that they can take over and run this world as a new world order, and so that we don't actually enlighten and ascend into the next density that we're supposed to be doing in this Aquarian age, because we've already passed into the next age. And the time is now. So wakey, wakey, wake up, and let's do it. Thank you for tuning into my show, 4.5 Reasons. I'm Alex Aquarius. Please hit like and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications when I put out more videos, and I'll see you later. Bye.